Thank you very much. Now we shall proceed with our keynote addresses. We have this morning the Director of the United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Risk Reduction, Mr. Salvador Briceno. Mr. Salvador Briceno's career spans over several decades in the areas of environmental management and sustainable development. He received his master's degree in public administration from Harvard University in 1984 and doctorate in administrative law from the University of Paris to Pantheon-Sorbonne. I think those are two different places. So, during the 1980s, he worked as research associate at Harvard University's Energy and Environment Policy Center, following an active career as Director General of the Ministry of Environment and Renewable Natural Resources of his country, Venezuela, where he was responsible for environmental education, professional development, and international relations. Prior to his appointment as Director of the UN ISDR, his various stints included serving as Executive Officer of the IUCN Commission on Education from 1985 to 1987, working with the UNEP Caribbean Program in Kingston, Jamaica, as coordinator of the intergovernmental and institutional support of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, as Deputy Executive Secretary of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification Secretariat, and as coordinator of the Biotrade and Greenhouse Gas Emissions Trading Initiatives of the UN Conference on Trade and Development. May we now welcome Dr. Salvador Briceno.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Dr. Kim, Honorable Senator Ligarda, Dr. Supachai Panichpakdai, with my former boss in UNCTAD, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to speak here today. I'm very honored for that, and I really thank the organizers for given me this opportunity. We are here to examine an issue that at first glance seems both broad and very specific: gender in climate change and disaster risk reduction. First of all, gender, disaster reduction, and climate change are all cross-cutting issues that impact every part of development. What is more, their specific areas of overlap and linkages with each other represent key solutions to protecting development gains. To signal my intent early, the main point I wish to explain today is that disaster risk reduction is an extremely important entry point for helping to mainstream gender issues into climate change work, specifically into climate change adaptation. To offer this explanation, I have first a few remarks on how climate change, disaster reduction, and gender are linked. We know the risks posed by climate change: intensifying natural hazards, leading to more devastating and frequent disasters, costing more dollars, more lives, and the future of too many people. 80% of all disasters are related with climate hazards: droughts, floods, storms, and these are already on the rise. Climate change adaptation is becoming ever more urgent, and disaster risk reduction is a powerful tool for this task. In a practical sense, adapting to the increasing risks of climate hazards is disaster risk reduction in action. At an international and national policy level, the Disaster Risk Reduction Plan, adopted by 168 governments in 2005, called the Hyogo Framework for Action to build the resilience of nations and communities to disasters, is a ready tool for the task. The United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, just a few days ago, called on member state ministers to ensure that disaster risk reduction and the Hyogo framework are urgently integrated more strongly into national and international climate change policy as the first tool out of the box to start work on large-scale climate change adaptation.